Recognize Mr. Walberg for 5 minutes.
I thank the chairman and thanks the panel for being here. And there was a reason we didn't vote for the IRA. And I'm glad I didn't, and would vote the same way again. Our constituents are struggling. Under the Biden-Harris administration's policies, energy prices have never been higher. That's a fact. Combined with record high inflation, people are having to make the choice between heating their homes, filling up their cars, or putting food on the table. Those are facts. Michigan families have been hit particularly hard. We have the highest residential price per kilowatt hour of any state in the Midwest. In fact, we have higher prices than 75% of the country. This is unsustainable, and Michiganians deserve much better than that. And that's a fact. As is their excuse for all high costs, the administration will claim that this is because of price gouging. But the facts show that that's not the case. States like California take significantly more money from the cost of gas than refiners' profits do. As of last week, $1.40 alone went to taxes, environmental initiatives, and unnecessary fees in the state. Plain and simple, unaffordable prices are the fault of the Biden-Harris administration's anti-American energy policies and their inflationary spending. Some of those policies include a forced transition to less reliable technologies. We've seen it with the EV, and yes, I'll say mandates, because if the standards are set so high that you have to go the direction, it's a mandate. We can use word salads on that, but it's still a mandate. And with regulations out of the EPA that force closures of affordable, reliable generation. Ms. Pryor, can you speak to how a transition to electric vehicles could impact costs and the ability for you and farmers like you to run your businesses? And second, what does that mean for the cost of food?
Like I tried to explain, I know it's difficult for people to imagine, those long hours and running equipment for that length of time. But with any crop, the corn that we're using the trucks for long hours or any other crop, time is of the essence, and you're competing against the weather or any other event that could happen, so you can't wait, especially if it's a perishable crop. So being able to operate for long hours and not have to stop. Once apples are loaded on a truck, they can't sit in the sun or they can't sit in heat or even extreme cold where they could be below freezing. So to have a truck loaded and then them be hauling them from North Carolina to Michigan, where a lot of ours go, to processing, that's a long trip. And if they had to stop in either extreme heat or cold to charge, it would be detrimental to the fruit that they're hauling.
Yeah, I mean, the haylage that's going past my house right now and silage, they can't wait. The trucks that just fly past my house and they're coming back, ready for the tractor, ready for the unloading.
And that's what, so with corn, you have your combine bin is full, or your grain cart is full, you're stopped until you can offload onto that truck. And for our farm, and I know a lot of other fellow farmers, we don't have the option of, well, we'll just have multiple trucks, so if one's charging, we'll run our other one. That's a huge expense. We have exactly the amount that we need, so we don't have a spare to be charging.
You are a just-in-time industry, that's for sure. Mr. Fisher, in your testimony, you discuss how the IRA isn't the boon to reliable American energy that it's sold as, but it actually threatens the power grid due to its reliance on subsidies and intermittent renewables. Can you unpack that for me and our committee a little bit further?
Yeah, so the Inflation Reduction Act is a series of subsidies. It was, the thought experiment is you take something like the Green New Deal and squeeze it through a budget package. It's just subsidies. And what subsidies for intermittent resources do is they distort price signals. So in the US, power plants have to make money. If you're a coal-fired power plant, a gas-fired power plant, you need the market signal to produce and to stay online. What the subsidies do is not only force more of the intermittent resources then would show up otherwise, but also cuts into that revenue. So then what you see is those plants start closing, prices start going up, or you see even the reaction to that is basically you have to subsidize the reliable plants too. So it's a subsidy game that just, it snowballs.
Never ends. My time has expired. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman yields. The chair now recognizes the ranking member of the